And Global Affairs analyst Colin Nweke joins me live now for more on this. He joins me from Belgium virtually. Good to have you join us.
Thank you so much, Precious, for having me.
So let me start by getting your thoughts on the significance of these trips being made by President Zelensky. For UK, maybe one can understand because of the role that the United Kingdom has played so far from the very beginning of this war. But talk to us about the significance of France and the EU as well.
It is very, very significant visits, considering that this is the first time since the war started. As a matter of fact, since he actually became president of Ukraine, when he had the opportunity to sit down together with the 27 leaders of the EU countries. Now, another aspect of it is the fact the opportunity it gives to Zelensky to have bilateral meetings with, the European leaders, because as you would imagine, part of what he's, what he has on his agenda are pretty sensitive issues that need to be discussed, behind closed doors. These are not things, you discuss in details at summits and all of that. So this meeting gives him that opportunity, but above all, it also helps him to, look at the body language, test the waters in terms of whether his long list of requests is actually falling on dead ears, or if there are chances of, getting through all the things that he desires from the EU.
Mm. And one Ukrainian official said he traveled to obtain results. And we know that two out of that list is the plea for fighter jets. He's also seeking speedy EU membership. But let's start with the fighter jets. Is he going to obtain that result? Because one wonders how many requests from Ukraine can the answer be yes?
Well, the Ukrainian president Zelensky has this penchant for making requests that are uncomfortable. Sometimes, at the initial stage of making those requests, they actually look impossible. And, the reactions to some of his requests since the beginning of this war have been such that when the allies hear those requests, they are like, oh, over our dead body. But he has not quite failed in getting any of those. Recall that at the beginning of this war, the United States and Europe have very clearly said, no, we are going to stay out of it. But gradually, they are actually, doing more than they bargained. So what we are seeing in specific terms in regards to the fighter jet is countries, for instance, Germany, that didn't even want to hear about it in the first place, are now saying that yes, everything is on the table. The same thing with France and so on and so forth. So yes, it looks likely that he is going to seal that deal. In addition to the Leopard that Germany has already given to them, and so yes, it's all looking good for him.
Mm. He also wants to speed up the process to EU membership. But why do you think that the EU is playing down the prospects of Ukraine's EU membership anytime soon?
Well, I think it has to do with the necessary procedures for EU ascension. But you can also see that, in principle, they are sold to the idea. And this is not my words. Recall that, in the press conference that took place just a little over an hour ago, just next to me here, the EU President Charles Michel actually said the following words: Ukraine is EU, EU is Ukraine. He also referred to the fact that an interim report is going to be issued soon in regards to the reforms that have been made, and he's so far impressed with those reforms made in Ukraine with a view to joining the European Union. So I think it's now a matter of when. Well, they cannot jump the gun, but I believe that there is this preparedness to actually hasten things up and get Ukraine to be part of the EU.
Let's talk about Russia and how Russia is viewing all of this. The trip to the UK, the trip to France, and then the trip now addressing the trip. He's now in Brussels addressing the EU Parliament. How do you think Russia is reacting to this, is responding to this, and how do you think they will react?
Well, Russia's reaction is to be expected, and that is actually saying that the EU, together with the United States, are actually fighting this war together with Ukraine. That they are no longer actually neutral entities. They are helping to fight this explosive war. And so that doesn't make them happy. But what do you expect? I mean, obviously, what they wanted was for every country of the world to leave Ukraine on its own and, allow Russia to bomb them as much as they want to. So, yes, they are unhappy about this, but it is also inevitable because Europe is actually seeing it from the point of view of the values that Europe represents, but also their interest to a large extent. And so in the end, it might be that it actually delays the ultimate negotiations that will bring about the peace, because come to think of it, no matter how we turn it left, right, and center, this war is going to end on the negotiating table.
I was just going to ask you about that, Mr. Nweke, because one wonders with all of these trips and all of the weapons that are being given, if it is almost as if what the EU and the US is saying, look, we are not up for negotiation. Is that something that is inevitable? Are they eventually going to get there? And when do you think they're likely to get there?
Definitely, yes. But when, nobody knows. And the science right now is that it is going to be a long drawn war. Don't make any mistake about this. I believe that parallel conversations are ongoing. Ongoing in terms of those who are given to peace, whose job it is to, negotiate, behind closed doors. Yes, I think they are doing their job. But at the same time, what Europe has refused to do is simply fold their arms, trust that that Russia has good faith, and that they are going to, give up the weapons and come full time to the negotiating table. So while that is happening, and while that acute lack of trust is there, I think they are doing what they can to actually strengthen their negotiating power when then the negotiation begins. Ultimately, it will come, but the signs are that it is not going to come pretty soon.
Always a pleasure speaking with you, Mr. Collins Nweke. Thank you so much for talking to us.
A pleasure to be with you. Thank you.